A Call for Courage, Compassion, and Truth. By Senator John McCain, delivered from the great beyond. My fellow Americans, I never thought I'd need to speak again, but the very soul of our nation is at stake. Today, I rise to address the madness, division, and failure of leadership threatening America's future. This is a plea to restore humanity and principle to our policies, especially on immigration. To my friend Senator Lindsey Graham and Presidents Obama, Biden, and Trump, you are complicit in turning this nation into an incarceration nation. The cries of suffering at our borders, in detention centers, and within divided families are the result of failed leadership and broken promises. The Laken Riley Act versus Amnesty. The Laken Riley Act, with its focus on mass detention, profits off human misery. It's an industry of exploitation, costing over $37,500 annually per detained individual. With millions of undocumented people, this policy would create a multi-trillion-dollar disaster. Meanwhile, it destroys families, traumatizes children, and shreds our moral fabric. Contrast this with amnesty or a pathway to citizenship. When President Reagan, yes, Republican, signed the 1986 Immigration Reform and Control Act, nearly 3 million people gained legal status, contributing billions in taxes and strengthening Social Security. A similar reform today could inject $1.7 trillion into our economy over a decade while stabilizing Social Security for future generations. Amnesty isn't a handout, it's an investment in America's greatness. The American Families Act. The American Families Act prioritizes family reunification and legal pathways. Processing costs range from $2,500 to $5,000 per person, far less than the tens of thousands wasted on detention. Keeping families together strengthens communities, reduces reliance on social services, and allows immigrants to contribute as workers and taxpayers. This isn't soft policy, it's smart policy. To Senator Lindsey Graham. Lindsey, where's the man who stood with me for comprehensive immigration reform? You once believed in human dignity and pragmatic solutions. Why have you traded courage for compliance and compassion for fearmongering? It's not too late to reclaim your integrity. To President Obama and President Biden. Barack and Joe, your records on immigration are far from spotless. Barack, under your watch, deportations hit record highs. Joe, your promises of compassion remain unfulfilled. Families are still separated, and detention centers still thrive. You've both had chances to fix this, and you failed. Now is the time to act. To President Trump. Donald, you turned division into a brand and cruelty into policy. The walls you built, literal and figurative, represent everything America must reject. Leadership requires lifting people up, not tearing them down. To the American people. America, this is not who we are. Ronald Reagan spoke of a shining city on a hill, but today, our light dims with every child locked in a cage and every family torn apart. Immigrants built this nation. Criminalizing them is to criminalize our own history. A call to action. To every leader and citizen, you have a choice. Will you build walls or bridges? Will you lead with courage or cower in fear? The world is watching. History is watching. And yes, we are watching from above. Reject the Laken Riley Act and all policies rooted in fear. Embrace reform that prioritizes family reunification and pathways to citizenship. Address root causes, not symptoms. America's greatness lies in its compassion, not its cruelty. When history asks what you did in this moment, let your answer be one of courage and humanity. Thank you, and God bless the United States of America.